Okay. So Othello has given permission for some partying to take place as long as it is within a set amount of time. And he obviously looks to Michael Cassio to be in charge of the guard and to be aware of it not going too far. Hello. Who's a herald is just someone who comes in and makes an announcement. And Cassio, in another shocking display of irony, says, Iago, don't worry, Iago's helping me. Obviously, I'll keep an eye on him, but, you know, the whole thing is like, hey, if Iago's in charge, let's not worry. He's going to keep a personal eye on it. And that's compounded by Othello's, Iago is most honest. No, he's not. So, Othello then turns, obviously, to Desdemona. Come, my dear love. The purchase made, the fruits are to ensue, the profits yet to come between me and you. Okay, so let's use this straight away as an example of the difference between translation and analysis. The translation of these lines is, we've got married, but we have yet to have sex. Okay. The issue is here that both I and the examiner know that. We know that that's what it means. What I'm interested in is why Shakespeare has Othello use the language of purchase and profit. Who talks about sex using that kind of language? Chloe? Iago. So in terms of effect, what is that suggesting? Emily? Yeah. Isn't that more interesting to discuss than saying, I know what these lines mean? And that word purchase, what is that also suggestive of? Aiden? I don't know about lustful, purchase, and Cassie? Whose value? Desdemona's value. Yeah, he's bought her. He's bought her from the shop, like a bag of crisps. But he hasn't opened up that bag of crisps yet and eaten them. And Cassie, what's your favourite bag of crisps? Favourite flavour? She doesn't know. She hasn't got a favourite flavour. This is scary. This is scary. Maggie, what's yours? Oh my God, you're all letting me down here. Isla, favourite flavour crisps? Sometimes you can't beat a ready salted. But hands up if you're a beef fan. Right, okay, good. Who does that sound like as well? Martha, who talks about Iago, yeah, but who else? Who else talks about like ownership of women? Aiden? Brabantio. So it seems to be that having married into that society, Othello starts to adopt some of the values of that society. Yeah? Okay. Can you see the difference there then between translating and analysing? I guess be guided by what's more interesting. And off they go. We don't hear from Desdemona. She obviously acquiesces. And Cassio says, right, come on, we've better go and do our job. But Iago says, no, it's not 10 o'clock yet. Our general cast us thus early for the love of his Desdemona, whom let us not therefore blame. He hath not yet made wanton the night with her, and she is sport for Jove. So Iago directly references the fact that his boss, his general, is off to have sex with his wife. It's inappropriate, isn't it? And he uses these words, wanton and sport for Jove. And Cassio replies, she's a most exquisite lady. And Iago says, and I'll warrant her full of game. You know, she's well up for it. And Cassio replies, indeed, she is a most fresh and delicate creature. What is Iago trying to get Cassio to do there? Ellie? I really like that answer. So Ellie said he's trying to get Cassio to talk highly of Desdemona to make it sound like he's in love with her. But I don't know if it's that word highly. What is he trying to bait Cassio into doing? Go on, Audrey. Yeah, I think actually he's trying to get him, you're right with the second bit, to admit he has feelings for her, but that he's going to go, oh yeah, like, I wish I was Othello, I'd be, you know, imagine any crude, horrible, laddish terms that I know none of you in this room would use. But does it work? Does it work, Simran? Why not? Why? Why does he do that? What do we know about Cassio? Yeah, that's right. But what else do we know about him, Alexa? That he has good values. In fact, we might use the quotation, Aiden. He's very loyal, but we might use the quotation. Emily? We could. Oh, a really simple quotation then, Cassie. Yes, Cassie. What about that Cassio's a proper man? Yeah, a gentleman. Yeah? Okay, good. Now, let's use this opportunity as well to discuss AO5 and whether we always want to agree with it. And this is why I want you to have the Arden. This word creature. So it's suggested that Cassio is actually halfway to Iago's view, because he might speak of a prostitute in that way as a creature. And we might look at this and go, okay, someone's written that in an Othello book, so it must be right. I disagree with it. I don't think he's doing that at all. And I am going to give you my evidence as to why, because I can't just say that. Iago continues, what an eye she has, methinks it sounds a parley to provocation, right? Basically, when she looks at you, she's asking for it. But again, Cassio says, an inviting eye, you know, friendly, and yet methinks right modest. And so Iago tries another another tack, and he says, and when she speaks, is it not an alarum to love, a call to arms? So she looks, the way she looks at you and the way she speaks, it's like she's constantly kind of going, yeah, take me, Cassio. And Cassio says, she is indeed perfection. Simran, are you getting this written down? Yeah. So here's a bit more evidence. Firstly, Cassio doesn't really give in at all. And finally, Iago recognises that he's not making any headway. Well, happiness to their sheets. Right, that hasn't worked. Come, Lieutenant, I have a stoup of wine, and here without are a brace of Cyprus gallants that would fain have a measure to the health of black Othello. Just in case we'd forgotten that Iago was, in fact, racist. Let's not forget that. Not tonight, good Iago. I have very poor and unhappy brains for drinking. I could well wish courtesy would invent some other custom of entertainment. So, I like that description. Poor and unhappy brains. But this is quite a thing. Go on, Naiden. Because... yeah, I mean, it is foreshadowing because he is going to get drunk and make very bad decisions. It's also just, he's just telling the truth as well, isn't he? He's just saying, look, I'm not a drinker. But this is quite a thing to admit. Remember last week we were talking about the whole masculinity of that, the military and the revelry. And he wishes that actually there was something else that people did to entertain themselves that wasn't drinking. But Iago's going to put the pressure on. Yeah, but they're our friends. Come on, we can't not drink with our friends. He says, oh, I've already had one cup tonight. And behold what innovation it makes here. So he's saying, look, it's already had an effect. That one cup's had an effect. But Iago's going to push it. Come on, man. It's a night of revels. The gallants desire it. And remember that Cassio is inexperienced in the field. So he's perhaps going to want to feel like he should do the things that are expected of him in this way. Where are they? They're here. So, all right. Yes, Evie. Yeah. I'll do it, but it dislikes me. I'm not happy about it. But there's also, I don't know, I can't help feeling in that particular syntax that he's removing himself from responsibility, right? Oh, the alcohol dislikes me. Well, you're in charge, Cassio, don't drink it then. So, some personification there, perhaps. And, oops, I'm supposed to say blame, kind of trying to remove himself from the responsibility. Sophie, can you see that all right over there? Yeah. Okay. So, we end this little scene, or section of this scene rather, with Iago putting forward a bit more of his plan. He says, if I can fasten but one cup, if I can get him to just have one more drink, with that he's already had, he'll get properly fighty. He'll be as full of quarrel as a dog. Again, speaking to the fact that Iago knows the people around him. He's got that insight. And in this next section, he's basically going to say how he's got loads of other people drunk already as well. So he calls Rodrigo his sick fool. He says he's been drinking toasts to Desdemona all night. So he is in potations pottle deep. So he's drunk. He's got 3 others drunk as well, that he has flustered with flowing cups. And these 3 hold their honours in a wary distance. So they're like, they've got a chip on their shoulder as well. Like, they're going to be easily provoked. So all he has to do now, if he can get another drink on Cassio, he's just got to kind of drop him into this flock of drunkards. So again, we've got that animalistic imagery, but we need to be thinking about why. What does that reveal to us about how Iago views these other people? So if we get Cassio in the middle of this flock of drunkards, then hopefully he'll do something, some action that will offend, upset, or injure the Isle, Cyprus, right? There'll be some big ruckus.